Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Logic Medico. Today's topic is MCQs in ENT year part 9. So the first MCQ is all the structures of the ear which are of adult size at birth except tympanic cavity, ossicles, eustachian tube, labyrinth. So time starts now. So if you are told option C, then it would have been correct answer. Eustachian tube is not of adult size at birth. It is shorter, more straighter, and it is more in line with the nasopharynx. So what happens whenever the child is feeding, if the mother doesn't keep the head end of the child at a more higher level, the milk will directly enter the midlear cavity because the eustachian tube is very short and straight. Okay, but all the other things, that is the tympanic cavity, the ossicles, and the inner ear, are of adult size at the time of birth, but eustachian tube takes minimum of 4 to 5 years to become adult size. Okay. Now next question is question number 2. The area between the three semicircular canal is called as, options are solid angle, acute angle, liquid angle, all of the above. These are the options. Okay, your time starts now. So what do you think? So if you are told option A, then it's the correct answer. It's called the solid angle. The three semicircular canal which are perpendicular to one another, the anterior semicircular canal in the sagittal plane, the posterior semicircular canal in the coronal plane, and the horizontal semicircular canal in the transverse plane. That area will be called as solid angle. Okay. Come to the next question. The paralysis of stapedius causes, options are hypoacusis, hyperacusis, paraacusis, presbyacusis. Your time starts now. The answer is hyperacusis. If you ask why, hyperacusis means the person hears much louder than, even if I speak in low tone, the patient hears it in a high tone. Why that happens, we'll see. Stapedius is a muscle which is present in the posterior wall of the tympanic cavity. It begins from the pyramidal eminence. It is attached to the footplate of stapes. It is supplied by nerve to stapedius, branch of facial nerve. If at all there is a damage to the facial nerve and this nerve, stapedius, the stapedial reflex will be lost. You can see my video on stapedial reflex if you want further details. And then therefore this muscle contracts whenever the person speaks in loud tone, so that to minimize the sound wave reaching the inner ear. But that doesn't happen now because the muscle is paralyzed. Therefore whatever the patient is speaking, whatever the person is speaking, the patient will hear it in a loud tone. That condition is called as hyperacusis. Okay. Next question. Opening of eustachian tube is caused by, this is a very interesting question. Okay. Which muscle? Okay. Levator veli palatini, tensor veli palatini, salpingopharyngeus, that is from fallopian, from eustachian tube to the pharynx, salpingopharyngeus, eustachian tubalis. Your time starts now. Your time is up. If you are told tensor veli palatini, option B, then you are told the correct answer. This tensor veli palatini is a muscle of soft palate, but actually it begins from the eustachian tube level. So it actually tenses the soft palate. Therefore it's called tensor palatini. But the word veli is used. Veli means eustachian tube. So when it is tensing the soft palate, simultaneously it will dilate the eustachian tube. Therefore the other name of tensor veli palatini is dilator tubae. So dilator tubae it's called so because it will dilate the tube. So here the options could have been dilator tubae, but easily you will guess the opening of the eustachian tube is dilator tubae. Therefore the option is given as tensor veli palatini. The opposite muscle is levator veli palatini, that is, this will elevate the soft palate, but at the same time it will constrict the eustachian tube. So it is also called constrictor tubae. The levator veli palatini is called constrictor tubae. For time being, you remember the tensor veli palatini is also called dilator tubae because it dilates the eustachian tube. So if this muscle is paralyzed, that time opening of the eustachian tube will be in trouble, and therefore aeration of the middle ear or the drainage of the middle ear, the secretions of the middle ear will not be drained into the nasopharynx, resulting in repeated middle ear infection, otitis media. That is called as because of eustachian tube dysfunction. because tensor vela palatini dilates the eustachian tube, ventilates the middle ear. If this doesn't happen, there can be retraction of tympanic membrane too. Okay, so there can be otitis media or there can be retraction of tympanic membrane if the eustachian tube dysfunction happens. Okay, the next question is, Settle's angle is the angle between the middle cranial fossa dural plate and dash. Options: superior petrosal sinus, inferior petrosal sinus, transverse sinus, sigmoid sinus. A slightly difficult question. The time starts now. Your time is up. The answer is option D, sigmoid sinus. The Settle's angle is the angle formed between the middle cranial fossa. I have told you in the previous MCQ series, part 8, in that middle cranial fossa is formed by greater wing of sphenoid bone. Okay, between that and the sigmoid sinus, S-shaped sinus, there will be one angle, and that angle is called as Settle's angle. Okay. Next question. This one you should get this correctly. Area of tympanic membrane is options: 60 mm square, 70 mm square, 80 mm square, or 90 mm square. Your time starts now. So what is the surface area of tympanic membrane? So which option you told? Again the option will be D, 90 mm square. The surface area of tympanic membrane is 90 mm square, but the functional area will be only the inner 2/3. Okay. Next question. Recruitment seen in which of these following? Options: otitis externa, otitis media, cochlear lesion, 8th cranial nerve lesion. Your time starts now. So what is this recruitment and what is this answer option? Okay, cochlear lesion is the answer. If there is a damage to your inner ear at the cochlea, that time there will be a phenomenon called as recruitment. So what exactly is the recruitment? Abnormal growth in loudness. So when there is abnormal growth in loudness, for example, you have a company, you employ many people, that is recruitment, right? To get the work done faster, like that. If there is an abnormal growth in the loudness of the patient, that is suggestive of cochlear lesion. Initially the patient will feel you are talking in a correct tone. Hello, how are you? Suddenly they will feel like this. Increase in your pitch of voice. That is called as recruitment. It usually suggests there is a lesion in the cochlea. Okay. Next interesting question. Endolymph is produced by which of these following? Options: basilar membrane, vestibular membrane, vascular membrane, all of the above. So the options, your time starts now. Your time is up. Answer is option C, vascular membrane. Vascular membrane is a membrane which is there in the junction between these two membranes. Basilar membrane will be the bottom or the floor. Okay. Vestibular membrane will be the roof. The side wall will be the vascular membrane. Through this vascular membrane, rich amount of capillaries will be there. From there, ultrafiltration of these plasma from these capillaries will result in the formation of endolymph. Endolymph circulates within the cochlear duct, saccule, vestibule, semicircular canals, all this. That is called as endolymph. Okay. The surrounding area will be perilymph, that you know already. Okay. Next question. Fistula test is positive in which of these following? Options: acute mastocytitis, erosion in the basal turn of cochlea, erosion in the lateral semicircular canal, acute petrositis, adhesive otitis media. Your time starts now. Okay, first of all, fistula test means there is some hole somewhere. Okay, there is a fistula, there is an abnormal connection between two luminal organ or a luminal organ with the exterior. That is the meaning of fistula. So there is a hole, so it should be one among these two. Can you guess which one? The answer is erosion of lateral semicircular canal. This one, option C, is the correct answer. Where when you press the tragus of the ear for the patient, the person will have vertigo, or you can see his eye moving rapidly. That is nystagmus. That shows there is a hole in the lateral semicircular canal. So that is called fistula test positive. Okay, got this? Next one. Stenger test used to detect, this you should tell correctly. If you have seen my previous video completely, you will be able to tell this correctly. It is seen in organic hearing loss, non-organic hearing loss, both A and B, none of the above. Time starts now. So the answer is option B, non-organic hearing loss. Stenger test I have explained in my previous video, part 8. If you are interested, you can see that video properly. Okay. Next, last question, bonus question. If the patient can hear a whispering voice of 30 centimeters away from the ear, the patient has got options: normal hearing, sensory neural hearing loss, conductive hearing loss, congenital hearing loss. Your time starts now. We can hear the whispered voice of 30 centimeters away from the ear. Okay, so what is the answer? Normal hearing, sensory neural hearing loss, conductive hearing loss, congenital hearing loss. What do you think it is? If you're told mixed hearing loss, okay, that's something. If you're told it's a normal hearing, then you're told the correct answer. A normal person, he may be termed as patient, but one of the side of his ear can be normal, right? When someone has whispered the voice of 30 centimeters away, he can hear it normally. Okay, if it's far away, then obviously you will not be able to hear. Okay, so like and share this video with your family and friends. Subscribe to my channel and press the bell button to get the latest notification. Okay, thank you once again.